Welcome to Round Glass. I'm Vishvapani Blomfield and thank you so much for joining me. This is the second session of my series on engaging imagination. So today we'll be using the image of the ocean, and we'll be using it as a way to engage with our body and our emotions. So as we prepare, maybe just asking you, how are we today? How are you today? And I'd really like to invite you to share that in the chat. It's great to hear from people, wherever you are around the world. And in today's practice, we'll be exploring how can we have a deeper sense of ourselves and using the image of the ocean to support that. So I live not too far from the sea, and my wife's family have a house just near the sea in West Wales, in Pembrokeshire on the coast, in a small village called Newport. And the road that the house is on leads down to a beach, a harbour area, where the children are playing and it's all very safe. But beyond the bay is the sea, the open sea. Now, I'm no sailor, but I do enjoy taking a boat out to the sea. And there are seals, there are sometimes dolphins, and then all sorts of seabirds, razorbills, guillemots, and then there are the sounds and smells. And of course, as you go out into the sea, you sense that the sea is deep and powerful. So it's a very strong image, and we'll be using that in our meditation today. So yesterday we used the image of a wave, and we'll be building on that today with the image of the ocean. And like the wave, we'll be using the image of the ocean as a way to speak to deeper levels of our experience. The ocean is powerful. The ocean is deep. It's mysterious. Strong currents move through the ocean. It's alive with all sorts of sea creatures, and poets have often imagined that it contains all sorts of monsters and treasures, the whole wealth of the things that are in the ocean. So in that way, the ocean is a very strong image for the mind and the body too. And exploring the image of the sea, we also explore our minds and our bodies. So we'll be focusing on the breath, and we'll be staying in touch with our direct experience. We'll be using the image to stay present. So in fact, an image like this can help us to be more fully present. But remember that this is your practice. This is your meditation. So engage in it in a way that's right for you, and just keep coming back to what's present for you and grounding your awareness. So grounding your awareness by feeling the body. And whatever extra elements there are in the meditation, and this time it's the ocean, we always need to settle our thoughts. And we always need to be present here and now. So, yeah, I want to thank everyone who's shared in the chat. Yeah, it's good to hear from you wherever you are. And of course, if any questions come up for you during the practice, just ask in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them when we're finished. Okay. So, deciding how you want to sit for this practice in a way that's comfortable, but also alert. And maybe how you relate to the screen, whether you want to have your eyes open and watching the screen or closed, and you might want to turn away from the screen. So checking out what's going to be right for you in this practice. Now, connecting with the body. Just sensing the body. Feeling where the body rests on the floor, the contact points, the feet, the knees, at the bottom, and feeling the weight resting down, feeling the body being drawn down into our support. Gravity is drawing the body down towards the center of the earth. At the same time, feeling the whole height of the body. So the body rises up. You can feel the whole length of the spine. Maybe imagine a tiny thread drawing us up. Breathing. Settling. Just feeling the whole body. Just as it is. And noticing that the body is sitting still, but it's also moving. So the breath moves in the body. Other movements as well, the heart beating, the blood pulsing. But the one we feel most easily is the breath. Noticing the journey of the breath through the body, from the nose along the windpipe, the chest, also the belly, the tummy, rising and falling. Just staying with this sense of the breath. And we're not thinking about the breath. Just sensing it, feeling it. Now, there may well be thoughts in our mind. There probably are. We'll be thinking about what we've been doing, what we will be doing. So the mind is our companion, and these thoughts are our companion through the practice. Of course, we keep on thinking about things. That's just completely natural. But to stay with the practice, we need to notice when those thoughts have captured our attention. And every time we notice, we just guide our attention back to the body and the breath. And sensing that the breath is rising and falling in a rhythm, in a cycle. It flows in and it flows out. So the body moves in a cycle of breathing. And that cycle is also a wave. The wave of the breath rises, crests, and sinks. It rises up, it settles down. And maybe we can see that wave. So staying with the feeling in the body, staying with the movement of the breath in the body. We sense the wave rising and falling. Maybe we can hear the wave breaking on the shore or rippling in the sea. Smelling it, tasting it. And recalling what it feels like to touch a wave, to feel it. So breath rising, breath falling. We'll take A little time just to settle into the rhythm of the breath and the rise and fall of the wave. Ebbing and flowing. Sensing that below the surface, where the waves rise and fall, is the whole depth of the ocean. Fathoms deep. Sensing the depth of the ocean, feeling that in the body, traveling down. And the ocean has currents. Great movements of water. And we feel their tug and flow and pull. Just as in the body, below the surface, we feel the tug and flow of our emotional life. The deeper currents of our being, of our minds. Thoughts are like the waves on the surface, but thrown up, churned up by the movement of the currents, and just sensing them in the body. Areas of tightness, areas of energy, of flow. We don't have to put words to these areas or these feelings, just sensing them, experiencing them. Like the deep ocean currents. In the darkness and the depths of the ocean. whatever creatures may be there. Just remembering we can always come back to the surface. Perhaps we can dwell for a little while in the deep ocean. Settling. Breathing. Sensing. Alive to what's present. Alive to the flow of experience. The sea change. Staying with the body. The breath. The whole of our experience, its heights, its depths. Rich and strange. Sensing the vastness of the mind. Opening to the whole of the ocean. So we've dived quite deep, and we'll need to just gently and slowly decompress as we move back towards the surface. Feeling the breath like a wave. Feeling the body. And gradually letting go of the image of the ocean, the image of the wave. And starting to externalize our attention You're just moving the fingers a little, just moving and stretching them if you've been still. Perhaps moving your toes, perhaps rolling the shoulders. So in this way we can make the transition from the practice, maybe adjusting slightly, and just taking a few moments now to reflect on the experience, what it was like for you. So how did you respond to that image, the image of the ocean? When we use an image, we need really to give it space. It doesn't have a meaning, so we just need to see what effect it has. Maybe you found it resonated for you, or maybe not. You can't force the imagination. But if you did respond to something in the practice, what was it? And maybe you could share that in the chat. I'd love to hear what your experience was. Perhaps it was the waves on the surface of the ocean, which are also like the breath, and also like our thoughts. Or maybe it was the currents in the ocean, the deeper currents. So our emotions can feel like that, can feel like ocean currents. Or was it the depth of the ocean, the mystery of the ocean? So meditation like that, which is opening the imagination, it can give us a sense that there's more to us than we know, more than we're consciously aware of, and the image can help with that. So just maybe reflecting, moving on now from the practice itself. So what helps you to stay in touch with the depths in the course of a day? And what keeps you on the surface? So you need to remember that it's okay to come up to the surface. In fact, it's essential. You can't be deep in the ocean all the time. But how can we stay centered? So the practice may also set you reflecting a bit on meditation itself. And how do you stay centered in the meditation? So sitting on the ground is a good way to do it, but maybe you're in a chair and that's okay as well. So how do we stay centered in the meditation and other times? And then, so I've been leading this practice about the ocean and so, but maybe you're thinking about what you're doing today. So there's this other element as well. There's our thoughts, all the things that come up for us in our thoughts. So there's something to explore when we use any object of concentration, about how we stay with that and how we work with the mind's tendency to drift. And drift is something else that happens in oceans as well, of course. So so that's true whether we're using the image of a wave or a tree or the ocean or whatever it might be, whether we're using the breath as the focus of our awareness, some aspect of the body, maybe the body's energy. With all these different things we can focus on, but we still need to be in touch with the reality of our experience. So something from the chat, thank you. Should we reuse the idea of the waves and the depths when we struggle during the day? Well, yes, if that works for you. I think that's the thing about imagination, about an image. Just see what works for you. Now, one of the things that does help during the struggle of the day is just feeling the body and feeling the breath. So if you have a sense of the breath rising and falling, then you can use the image of a wave. And if we feel like we're too much on the surface, yeah, you can use the image of the ocean. So another question, what do we mean by feeling the body and feeling the breath? Okay, so that's an interesting question. What I mean is something really simple. I hope it's really simple. It's just noticing this physical sensations as your breath moves and as you feel, as your body touches the floor. Just noticing that and allowing yourself to sense it. I hope that makes sense. Usually we make a distinction between feeling things directly and thinking about things. Yeah. So just being aware when you find you're thinking. I mean, I can think about my hand, but then I can feel it. Okay, so coming to our time, and I just want to leave you with something that the Buddha said. So, and the way the Buddha was one of the great meditations, but he used the image of the ocean. Now, bear in mind, he lived in the middle of India, a long way away from the ocean. But the ocean's still quite a powerful image for him. And he said that the truth, the word is dharma, but the truth is like an ocean. Just as the ocean has just one taste, which is the taste of salt, so the ocean has so the truth has but one taste, the taste of freedom. So as we explore meditation, how do we know when we're going in the right direction? And the answer, taking those words from the Buddha, is that direction tastes of freedom. Okay, so thank you for joining me. Follow me on my profile to practice this session again and see when I'm going live next. I'll be doing next practice tomorrow. So have a good day and just keep swimming.